Holy shit, I'm still alive! I know I haven't done one of these videos in a while, and that's because if you've been following my regular channel and my Twitter, you'll know that I've been watching a lot of other shows, mostly older anime that I've been doing videos on, and I've just been neglecting the currently running shows. But then today, me and Victor decided to finish Nanana's Buried Treasure, because the last episode came out, and what did you think of the last 3 episodes of Nanana's Buried Treasure?
It was boring, I fell asleep. I don't feel good about my day now. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I don't know what the point was.
It was very pointless. The show altogether,
I could have gone outside.
it didn't go anywhere. I expected it to have some kind of resolution, and it didn't at all. I guess this is a still running series of novels. I looked it up just now, and like I was under the impression that this was just like one complete book that it was adapting, but I don't know if it adapted more than one or just the first or what's going on, but it definitely didn't reach any conclusions, and it was pointless and boring, and the dialogue in the last 3 episodes is just characters making conjectures.
It was like at some point in the
Constantly.
show, it seemed like it was gonna be fun, and they were gonna be like, yeah, adventure. And then no, some fucking guy with a trench coat comes and ruins everything. He shat all over everything.
Yeah, the last 4
He's like,
episodes
"I'm so
are
cool."
overshadowed by this villain who they introduce, who's completely boring and hard to watch, because all he does is just be a dick and insult people and
And
be
wear a trench coat.
stupidly overpowered and wear a trench coat. And he's voiced by Tomokazu Sugita, who I love, but I can't take him seriously, because in this role he's just speaking completely monotone the whole time. He says Kuso Megane like 800 times in 4 episodes. And he's the voice of fucking Gintoki from Gintama and Kyon from Haruhi. Like, you can't take him seriously. And he's such a douche, and I just hated him. He ruined everything. Every character just makes these wild conjectures based on nothing, and then that's what they operate on. Like, oh, she didn't say this one thing, therefore maybe she doesn't want me to find her killer or something. And you're like, where are you coming up with this? What are these conclusions you're drawing from thin air? Or Tensai, like, ordinarily, she comes up with stuff and you're like, alright, that makes sense. She just deduced that it was the Fibonacci sequence, which it always is, so not surprising. But then she deduces, like, oh, I was gambling, I didn't know that his power couldn't blah blah, but it must have been his trump card and all this shit. And I'm like, yeah, it just doesn't come off as very intelligent to me. It didn't seem like
They gave up.
It didn't seem like the kind of twists that make me go, oh man, they were doing that? That's interesting. It was just like, oh, I guess, it's just like No Game No Life. Oh, I guess she's smarter than me. I guess that's what the writer had the idea of. It was dumb and boring. Last few episodes had a lot of characters just getting really emotional about things that we don't care about, so we don't get emotional about it. He passed out during the last episode.
Yeah.
The last episode. That's just sad.
I slept through probably half of it because I was fucking bored and I got tired and I fell asleep.
Like, as soon as all the fighting was over, he was gone.
They were just, I just did not care at all.
It was hard to care. It was really hard to care. That's sad. Overall, this show is over now. We've watched all of it. What would you score it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Why even bother? Why would I give it a score? I just don't even want to think about it.
I give it a 5.
Sure, that works.
A 5 is the score where I would say...
Sure, someone would like it.
I've started scoring stuff on my anime list. Like, any shows that I have completed in recent enough memory that I can give them a score. My scale basically goes like 10, all-time favorite, right? 9, still a favorite, but maybe doesn't hit me on that pure level of like, oh my god, it was perfect all the way through. An 8 is like, this is a really solid, great show that maybe didn't appeal to me personally that much. 7 is similar, but maybe I had more problems with it. Like, it's a good show, but didn't, like, not the kind of thing I'm itching to rewatch, like, immediately. A 6 is a show that I don't see myself ever watching again, but I'm glad I saw it. And a 5 is a show that I don't see myself ever watching again, and I would not tell myself to watch it if I hadn't seen it before. Like, if I could talk to my past self, I'd say don't bother with that show. Yeah. That's how I feel about Nanana's
In a month,
Buried
we will
Treasure.
not remember the show ever existed.
No, not at all. A 4 would mean that it's that, but it also actively bored me a lot, which this show did towards the end, but there were good scenes, like, throughout the first half, I guess. I don't know, it's tempting to give it a 4, because it really shat the bed, like, the whole second half of the show.
Shat the bed.
Whereas a 3 would be, like, this was funny for the dub kind of thing. Like when we watched, what's it called? That fucking Demon City Shinjuku. It was like totally boring, but the dub was hilarious, so there was some enjoyment. A 2 would be so miserably boring that I'm passing out, and a 1 would be insultingly bad, like Sword Art Online. So yeah, I'd give a 4 or a 5 to Nanana's Buried Treasure. It really did not bank on much other than that it has nice character designs, which is every A1 Pictures show.
Yep.
And it had like some decent characterization with Tensai and like I guess Nanana, but they don't do anything. Like they feel so underused throughout the show. Everyone does. Really, every character feels like they never accomplished anything. The whole thing's over before it even began. It feels like, and
it's like all these side characters that did fucking
right.
nothing.
Where the hell was Yukihime?
There's that one
and
woman
the other
who was
dude.
introduced when they went to that like weird city, and it was like, oh, I'm a treasure hunting woman or something.
I don't even. Oh,
yeah, cool.
Well, I mean, there was the kid and the guy with the sword.
Yeah,
from that, but the other lady never showed up.
She did nothing.
She never shows up. Yukihime and the guy don't accomplish anything. We still don't know shit about his past.
It was like, never relevant that he was
there
like
was
a
so much
gangster or
stuff that I
something.
expected to be explored by the end of the
I
show,
thought that would
and
be
none
the
of it's
point.
come up again.
It's all bullshit.
They introduced this villain, and then it completely sidetracks the whole show.
Yep.
It was kind of bad. I don't recommend it. So, and it adds to my growing hatred of A1 Pictures as possibly the studio that I hate the most out of any studio, even more than B Train. That's it. That's our thoughts on Nanana's Buried Treasure.